So if you have a 3-row sized family, then the Volkswagen Atlas has definitely been one of your considering vehicles. And for 2021, we have a few changes, but for the most part, it's still the same great vehicle. And we're going to cover that in its entirety. And if you guys are new to CarGurus, we would love to have you guys subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell, that way you guys never miss an upload. But let's go ahead and jump into this 2021 Volkswagen Atlas. All right, let's start with what this specific vehicle is. This is the V6 SEL Premium R-Line, definitely a mouthful, but let's start with the R-Line part. You get the R-Line badge right up here. You get a little bit more aggressive bumpers here at the bottom, and you get some new wheels and things we'll show as we go around the rest of the exterior. One of my favorite things though is this color. This is called tourmaline blue. It reminds me a lot of like the ocean, how it has these slightly changing shades of blue within it, and then you have a ton of sparkle to it. So if you like to keep your car clean, this is definitely an amazing color to do it with. Other than that, the front is very squared off LED lights right here. You're gonna have this squared off grille right here, and everything about it just looks very boxy, very strong. Now continuing on the R-Line, you have these 21-inch wheels that are specific to the R-Line package. They look really good, and they're actually wrapped in Pirelli Scorpion Zero tires, which I personally think is a little overkill for a car like this, but it is a nice tire, so that is a plus. Now off to the side, you have your R-Line badge right here, which looks very nice. And then one of my favorite parts is there's this line that goes all the way down, and if you touch it, it's physically almost sharp. I do like the way it looks, and I love how it makes it look super muscular. Now coming to the back of the Atlas, very simplistic. Once again, more of that squared off theme in the lights. You have this chrome bar that runs right across the middle. It's gonna say Atlas there, SEL V6 badge over here, 4Motion all-wheel drive, which this is going to have standard on the SEL trim. Then as we go below that, you're going to have these fake exhaust tips. Now this is mostly due to the fact that most owners don't enjoy cleaning their exhaust tips, so this kind of takes that out of the equation, keeps the car looking very nice. And then you also have a tow package on here. The Atlas can tow about 5,000 pounds, so should be enough to tow your jet skis, your boats, things like that. All right, so under the hood of the Volkswagen Atlas, you have 2 engine options, but here, because we have the SEL Premium V6, like the name suggests, we get the V6. This is the top of the line engine offering, which I think is actually kind of interesting, and here's why. The V6 is a fantastic choice, less maintenance because you don't have a turbocharger, and it makes good power. 276 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you go for the turbo 4-cylinder, it's going to make 235 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, that torque number isn't much lower than the V6, but the biggest difference with a 4-cylinder is that that torque comes in way earlier. So you don't have to really get on the gas as much as you have to in the V6. And for reference, something like a Mazda CX-9 even feels way more powerful around town than this V6, and that's a turbo 4-cylinder that's making almost 310 pound-feet of torque. Now, the other benefit with the 4-cylinder is fuel economy. So you get 24 on the highway as opposed to 22 here in the V6, but that's not to take away from the fact that this V6 is an excellent, excellent engine. I just wish it had a little bit more low-end torque. All right, so inside the SEL V6 Premium R-Line Volkswagen Atlas. Now, you've got a lot of nice features in here. So you've got these really nice perforated leather seats. You're going to have a pretty solid feeling dash, all soft touch. You have this soft touch area here in the middle. You can put something like a wallet phone, and it's all rubber padded, so it's not going to slide around too much. You have a Fender sound system in here, which sounds very, very good. Massive panoramic roof. You're gonna have tons of storage space right under here. Obviously your cup holders, wireless charging pad area here. You can also use that as a secondary storage space because it's so big. USBs, auxiliary ports, 12 volts. You are going to have your different drive modes right here. So on top of having your normal eco, normal, sport, custom drive mode, you have this dial I can switch, and that'll put me into like basically a snow mode. You have different modes like your normal, your off-road, and then you also are going to have an off-road custom that you can adjust as well. So on top of all of that, you still have things like heated seats, ventilated seats, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have this updated steering wheel, which looks very nice, especially on the R trim, because you have your R logo right here, heated steering wheel, and you also have Volkswagen's version of like Audi's virtual cockpit. So I can hit this view button, it'll change the different views, and it looks pretty cool. Not the most high-tech advanced looking screen, but it is very nice, and obviously you have tons of room inside this cabin. Now, usually this is where we go to the second row, but I'm so excited about this third row, I wanted to push it up a little bit, and here's why. I'm 6 feet tall, just for reference, and I have tons of headroom. I mean, look at this. This is pretty impressive. I got about an inch and a half above my massive hair, and I even have room behind where I was sat in the second row. On top of that, I have storage space here. I can put something like my phone. I've got 2 cup holders, even more storage space right back here, my own vent, my own 12-volt back here, my own lights, and it's just a really nice place to be. Big windows, that way I don't feel claustrophobic, and I can even recline this seat forwards and backwards. Now in the second row of the Volkswagen Atlas, plenty of room once again, so this is where I was sat, being about 6 feet tall. Plenty of room here on my knees, plenty of headroom, and I can still scoot the seat back that much more to get even more space. Won't be too good for the person in the third row though. I do love the fact that I can really take advantage of this massive panoramic roof. It's just gorgeous, lets in a ton of light, and it makes this light stone gray leather look amazing. You have sunscreen shades right here, which is great for your devices, no glare, or if you have children, they have sensitive skin, it's nice for keeping the sun off of their sensitive skin. Tons of storage space here, map pockets, heated seats, 2 USBs, you have a 115-volt plug down there as well, and it's a pretty nice, spacious place to be. Though not as feature-rich as something like a Palisade or a Telluride, it still offers plenty of room, and everything just feels very solid. Now in the back of the Volkswagen Atlas, you're gonna have about 20.6 cubic feet behind your third row. If you lift this up, you have your Fender sub, you have a donut underneath there, extra storage cubbies off to the side, and if you fold all the seats down, you have a whopping 96.8 cubic feet total. And I do love how this lifts up very high, so being taller with big hair, I can fit under here without bumping my head. And so overall, this is a very usable space. All right, so driving in the Volkswagen Atlas V6 Premium, the very first thing you notice about this car is that there's nothing really special about it. And you would think that that's a bad thing, but surprisingly, it's not that bad of a thing. And here's what I mean by that. Now, as a car enthusiast, I tend to have the bad habit that most car enthusiasts have, and that's thinking every vehicle needs to be exciting and super fun to drive. And I gotta remind myself that car enthusiasts, we're this big of a percentage of new car sales. Most people just want something that's comfortable, that does what they need it to do, gets them from point A to point B, and has features that are not flashy but useful. And this has all of that. So to start off, the cabin's very spacious, it's very big. So you feel this dominant, higher up feeling on the road. You feel very safe because it feels like you're in this very well built, solid, boxy vehicle. Everything is right where I need it to be, so ergonomics are very nice in here. Visibility is excellent because you're basically driving a condominium on wheels, so you've got a great view out of the front, great view out of the side, massive mirrors, and if that isn't enough for you, you have all of your blind spot detection, you have all of your safety features that you would need, adaptive cruise control, everything just works, and everything works in such a seamless way that it comes off as not being very special or unique, but because everything just falls into the background, it makes the driving experience very simplistic. Now, from a dead stop, the V6 has got good power. It gets this large vehicle up and moving well. And once again, compared to something like, let's say, a Mazda CX-9, I love that 4-cylinder turbo just because from a dead stop, I just use my big toe to just press on the accelerator, and it just has this wave of torque that gets you moving right off the line. This is a very different feel. You have to rev it out a little bit more, but it gets the job done, and it's still a very smooth engine. Now, one other thing to talk about is the 8-speed automatic on this vehicle. It shifts so seamlessly, you almost forget it's doing anything. You would almost think it's a CVT, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. The transmission, you see the needle shift, you don't feel anything happening in the cabin. It just does it in such a comfortable, way in the distance sort of way. Now, the other thing I enjoy is the ride quality. The sound deadening in here is amazing. This is a fairly quiet cabin, and when you go over just really rough pavement, very uneven spots of road, the vehicle stays very well composed. And once again, I love the quiet factor in here, especially because it allows you to take more advantage of this amazing Fender sound system. I am a big audiophile, and I love this sound system. It's not the best I've ever listened to, but it's fantastic. All right, so let's talk pricing and competition. Now, some of the big competitors here, you have Honda Pilot, You have Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, Mazda CX-9. Those are all excellent vehicles. And unfortunately, the Atlas is going to be one of the more expensive options. This one, as is around $52,000. That is a lot of money when arguably all those other vehicles give you a lot more features. Now, a lot of them aren't as big as this vehicle, so if you just need that space and you're willing to pay for that little bit of extra storage space, the Atlas is going to be a really good choice. If you're a Volkswagen fan, boom, here you go. Or if you just want something that has this really nice, big, solid feel that the others don't quite give you. I think the Telluride comes really close. The Pilot sort of comes close, but this really does have this almost tank-like feel, which I really quite enjoy. But yeah, the other vehicles are going to price out around 46 to 48, maybe 50 grand, absolute max. So this one still is going to be a little bit more expensive, even if by a couple of $1,000s. But either way, that is a big considering factor with this vehicle. Well, everyone, that's going to wrap up the review of the Volkswagen Atlas. This is a really good vehicle if you want exactly that. Just a good vehicle, doesn't do anything too flashy, and gets you where you need to very, very comfortably with the right amount of features. But I have 3 questions for you guys. A, would you choose this over the competition? B, do you think this is priced a little too high? And then C, would you take the V6 engine, or would you rather have something like a Turbo 4 with a lot more low-end torque? Let us know in the comments if you guys are new to CarGurus. We would love to have you subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell, that way you guys never miss an upload. And be sure to visit us on cargurus.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next review.